Hello, good evening, and welcome back to JACKOCAR. This is the Kia series, and you're joining myself, Gareth Hall, and Owen Wyatt in the box for China. How you doing, Owen?
Yeah, I'm excited here to be in China. And yeah, 17 drivers, one of which is going to be Jamie Wright. So I think we know who's won this race already, although I would have expected a little bit of a pact might well start between some of these drivers. If you find yourself with Jamie on track, there'll be an accident. Because I don't see any other way any other driver's going to win this race. And I know normally, 20 seconds into a stream, I shouldn't be announcing the winner. But if you watch the Cup
I
Series
think it's
race,
warranted.
if you watch the Cup Series race, you'll know that Jamie Wright was very dominant. He does indeed love China.
Well, the worrying thing is, like you say, Jamie was winning comfortably in China, and I'm obviously the fastest member of Team Speed in P3, and he was 25 seconds ahead of me. Granted, he was on his Joker, but he was still obscenely fast that evening. Jack hasn't selected his livery. Come on, Jacko, speed it up. But yeah, we've got Jamie in, and we've also got Ben Harriott going for a second race win here in Kia because he can't get it done in Cup, so he's going for a second time around. Matt Shepherd, Bazza, Thomas Nevitt's joining us, Jamie Bromley, Rageman, Michelle, Lesty's back as well, which is good to see. And of course, we've got the likes of Yuri Newgarden, Jess, Jacko will be in there as well. So plenty of people to watch in qualifying this time around. We've got a slightly bigger grid, which is better than we've seen in the past few races, but nevertheless, I'm sure, Owen, we're looking forward to this one. It's a circuit that opened the Cup season. It's round 5 of Kia. It tends to be a bit of a Marmite circuit for quite a few people. Some people tend to like it. Some people tend to find themselves with very iffy grip, as Quinn does his obligatory leaving the session during qualifying. But yeah,
As usual.
I don't get a new PlayStation. It's like you with your old streaming issues.
I know.
But so what's your thoughts on China? Because it's not a circuit that I'm a massive fan of.
It's funny because this is probably the first track here that on the F1 game anyway that I sort of not really fell in love with, but sort of got good at. Back on F1 2017, back in the ILR days, I was always a big fan of this track. And it's weird that we're still racing here, actually, considering this is going to be the 5th season in a row that it's not, or no, the 4th season, sorry, in a row that it's been cancelled in real F1 because obviously the virus came from here and the track, they just can't go back because of it. So we're lucky it's even here in the first place. But yeah, I've always been a fan of it, mainly because I'm quick. But still, it's a fun track to get into the rhythm of, and I think the drivers tonight will find it tricky, especially that middle sector. I think it's turns 9 and 10 are probably going to be the most tricky, as well as 12 and 13. But we'll see how they get along. But yeah, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, it's one that I'm sure some of these guys will be looking forward to. It's a 5.45 kilometre circuit. That's 3.38 miles, 16 turns around a clockwise rotation, 51 gear changes over the lap, which puts us upwards of around about 1700 over the race distance. Full throttle, 55% off the lap. It's a 380 metre run to turn 1 from P1. Whoever gets it, it's the longest pure straight in Formula 1, just over 3/4 of a mile. Baku technically doesn't count as a pure straight. The top speed will be upwards of 211 to 214 miles an hour. Located just on the outskirts of Shanghai. It's actually based, the circuit layout is based off the Japanese or the Chinese character Shang, which means to ascend. So that's the reason for the weird sort of second sector, because it's supposedly meant to be looking like one of the Japanese characters as we've got coming out on circuit.
The race winner.
Jamie Wright, yeah. Of course, congratulations, Jamie, to taking... I mean, I think this is one that he'd been on at Jacko for a while, is that I want to win a race in Kia, because... I mean, it's like punching down at children, isn't it? But Jamie's going to be out there. And what's more embarrassing, Owen, is if he doesn't win, or if he wins by, like, a minute.
Nah, if he wins by a minute, that's almost to be expected, isn't it? I mean, this is the best driver in JACKOCAR. I mean, he shouldn't ever be in a Kia Series race. This is genuinely a bit like putting Max Verstappen into the F2 grid and expecting him not to win. It just doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, if Jimmy Wright doesn't win this race, there's something seriously wrong. It'll be dependent on how far he wins by, of course. But if I see him make even a single mistake tonight, I'm not going to let him forget about it because, yeah. I mean, really, just... It's like if we had Arnold or Khalifa in here. It would make no sense. I just don't understand what Jack is doing, letting him in this, if I'm honest with you.
It's a shame, actually.
Have a go at him on Thursday, but he's racing on Thursday, so I can just bully him then.
It's a shame because I kind of like this bit to be wet and it to dry up later on and see him. Well, I mean, he literally won from. Was it? I'm pretty sure he
14th.
even. Yeah, it came from the back of the grid, didn't he? So I would say I'd like to see him start from the back, but I mean, this in theory. I mean, the track is green, but that's not really going to make too much of a difference. But I wonder if he's going to give everyone a head start and maybe bog down a little bit on his qualifying lap and give himself a bit of a challenge, because if he puts it at the front, you could effectively call the race on at about lap 3. But here we go, starting him off and into the snail section that is turn 1 through turn 2, 3 and 4, where you just scrub off a bit of speed, but Jamie kind of soaring at the wheel a little bit there, getting a couple of motions in. He's taking the Kaya method of turning, but on the power now, he's going to get a little bit of a launch up through the kink here. This is technically turn 5, not really much of a corner. Into 6, heavy braking zone, down onto the apex. Does a purple first sector, which is quite good. Now
this looks like? This looks like one of those cheaters that we've seen exposed on Twitter recently, where they're deliberately driving really badly to make it look like they're not quick. Look at this. What is he doing?
What do we think he's doing? Because he runs on a pad. So is he holding the controller upside down? Or
controlling it with his toes?
One eye closed. Or like maybe he's like right up against his screen so he can only see about 3 or 4 pixels. He's just doing this off memory.
Trying a different camera angle, maybe the cockpit cam, nose cam, maybe the far chase cam.
Oh, if he was going far chase cam for the entire race, I would be all over that.
I'd like that. That'd be quite entertaining, I think. It's the only way this guy isn't going to win the race. But let's see then, as he comes through...
Oh, there's an apex there somewhere.
Well, he's hit it very, very early, it must be said. Not exactly the trajectory you'd want to see through that corner. For the final corner... Oh, the speed. The speed through there, that was just majestic. As he does a 1:35.5. That was a red-hot lap there.
It's Paul, it's Paul, it's Paul.
It's P1! It's P1! What a lap! Incredible!
Well, Thomas Nevin, what can you do? Because you've gone supposedly purple, but ignore that because the minimap always is complete rubbish. But Thomas has said that he's going to be feeling a bit rusty. He said he's not feeling too well, and he hasn't raced for a few races as well. So no excuses. Out there trying to beat the 2-time Cup champion. It's not daunting at all. But we'll see what he can do as he's making his way around the second sector now. Gets a big old snap, and that's not going to help your cause as he gets out onto the runoff area. Luckily, he'd scrubbed off enough speed that the game didn't go, no, you're not having that one, but he's going to go very deep here. That's not where you want to be, as he was actually on his way down to Shanghai. But running out now onto the straight. DRS will open as we get to the Aramco badge just here. There we go. Give you the extra bit of our 12 to 16 mile an hour speed difference as we go down towards the braking zone. Do we see an apex made? Well, it's much better than J-Luke, so maybe Jamie does need to be down here a cup. But however, the exit isn't as great as he decides to run the curb. Now into the final corner. You want to stay on that inside line, run to the outside and up to the line. It's going to be off the pole. It's going to be 36.5.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he must have ran his out lap with hot lap on, because he'd run out of VRX about halfway through that lap. That'll be something that hopefully the rest of the drivers aren't doing. Jimmy Wright's time is about 5-6 seconds off what I would expect from a good TT time, which is why I'm sitting here saying he should get beaten. He must have been getting his dad to drive for him or something, or maybe his dog or something, I don't know. But that's definitely not Jimmy Wright at pace. But I mean, he's still a second clear of anyone else, though. And watching Marcus Schneider going through turn 13, it looked like he didn't even have a front wing. He was that sort of understeery. Very nice colours on his car though tonight. I'm a fan of this. This is a contender for my favourite livery so far this season.
It's almost like that Lando Norris quadrant style, isn't it? Like fluoro yellow and the off grey sort of. But up to the line, what can Marco do? It's going to be about 36. It's a 36.3, pops him in to a current P2, but still 0.8 of a second off of Jamie's time. Ben Harritt up next. Now, Ben, of course, race winner back in Singapore. His first ever race win in JACKOCAR. And he had to jump down into Kia to do it because very much the midfield man, as Jacko has anointed him for the Cup Series. But, well, he's in my bad books, actually, because on lap 1 in Monaco, I told him last week I'm not going to let him forget it. He decided to effectively use me as a brake. So, you deserve that. I'm glad you'll be starting from the back, as he ruined my chances of winning the race at Monaco, which I, of course, would have done. But Ben Harritt will be starting at the moment at the back of the grid. But now over to Rico Vakkenkamp, who is running currently P17. But if he can keep it green, he will take at least a 16th place start.
Easier said than done around this track, but we'll see how he gets along. He's got very, 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 very green. And very, very, very slow into the apex of 6. There's definitely a bit more pace in that, but it is almost about just making sure you keep this thing valid, really, as you head round. It doesn't look like he's going as fast as he could, because it's sometimes better just to protect your tyres for this middle sector, and the final sector through turn 12 and 13 might be a bit easier for you. Let's see, though. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, it's down into the braking zone at a tricky turn 11 uphill. You want, of course, it's sort of off camber. It starts to fall away from you, so it's very easy for the back to step out on you if you get on the throttle too early. But Rico, just a little bit of snap of oversteer as he exits the final of the sweepers at turn 13, down towards turn 14, the heaviest braking zone on the lap, where you're going for full speed all the way down into around about second or third gear, depending on what you're running, whether it's manual or automatic. Gets it back underway and back towards the final 2 corners. Of course, this is the 5th round of the season at part of the Kia Series in JACKOCAR. We have got 2 stages tonight, one on lap 7, one on lap 14. We have 2 jokers, Jamie Bromley and Matt Lester. Matt Lester, of course, race winner already this season. And Jamie Bromley is looking to take his first race win in what feels like quite a long time for a man that's been to a Championship 5 before. But over now to who else have we got in circle? We've got Matt Shepherd making his way up to the final corner now, running what is actually my favourite livery of the season so far. I really do like this matte blue and orange. What can Shep do? And it's a 34-1. J. Luke, get in the bin.
Yeah, that's more what we were expecting. I'm sure Jacko's not going to be too happy to see that lap go through, but he will try and beat it anyway in what looks like his throwback livery still. He's not gone very original. We are very much moving on from that, my friend, who's abandoning me from the commentary box on Thursday. I'm not sure if I've already mentioned that, but he's not going to be with me on Thursday because he decided to race the cheeky little... So I have to find someone else to commentate, unless I can get you to commentate with me on Thursday. But you've got more important things to do on a Thursday.
I've got J-Luke to beat in the regular season.
You've got J-Luke to beat, as Jacko
at the last corner
blows it up. He would have been fastest, but he blew it up. So, good on him.
Just a note as well that we haven't noted that Kai's done a 142.2, put himself in 6th position. So yeah, we do apologise, Kai. We didn't actively choose to miss your lap, but yeah, he did message me just before the session started and said his controller's broken. I mean,
sure
I'm not quite sure what the excuse has been for the last few seasons, but the 42.2 puts him in current P6. However, it will be faster than both Ben Harritt and Jacko, so that shows you the pace that he's got over those two, because clearly starting the back there completely washed. Robin Border, what can you do out there? Robin's kind of a on-off kind of driver, tends to be up there, has some really good races, but then makes some absolute howlers and mistakes and loses a wing or gets caught up in a tangle that it doesn't need to be in. We saw that back in Japan, very wide indeed, and that's going to hurt him a little bit of time-wise. But what can the German driver do in this third sector?
You know, watching that middle sector, that is the reason why people hate this track. You will notice he was stuck there on about half throttle the whole way round, and the car just was not playing ball. Even through turn 13, took him 3/4 of the way through there to get on full throttle. And obviously this is something that hopefully Codemasters and EA will be looking at to fix for F1 23, because I'm sure you have seen the onboards from the likes of Australia, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain in F1 this season, where they are flat out so early on, and it is quite painful to watch a track like China being done so poorly. Because I reckon these cars should be much more fun to drive around here. As Rage Man, well, without those wide moments in the middle sector, might well have gone P1, but it's not a horrendous recovery. He still gets up to P2 ahead of the best Cup Series driver out there. Just saying.
I think
boys.
You're trying to upset Iceman, aren't you? The two-time regular season champion that can't do it in the Championship 5.
Exactly. The zero-time champion we're looking at here.
As we've got Bazza coming up to the line, of course, the Welshman, what can he do? It's going to be around about a 34, so it's going to be a good lap time for Bazza. It's a 34.893, so puts him in a current P3, just behind Rageman and just in front of J-Luke. And we've also got Danny Quinn out on circuit, and he's going to be coming onto the back straight now. Quinn, who's decided to change his livery up for this one around, gone a bit brighter. We're going to get the Owen hot meter because he keeps on changing his mind on yellow. He goes through periods of not liking it, and so then he'd like a bit of colour, and then we go back to not liking it. So what's the hot meter on Danny's livery?
I don't know. It gives me 2010 Renault vibes, which I like. As we discussed last week, we like a good Renault colour scheme, and this is another one of those. It's gone P1 as well. Hot at the top of the time sheets. The hottest lap of the day. So I think we'll give this one a pass, yeah.
As Quinn's out there, he's a TT sweat here around China. He's done a couple of laps. And by a couple of laps, I think he's pretty much solidly been doing TT since the end of last week. So takes provisional pole position. We'll see if he can hold on to it come the race, because yet to, I believe, be on the podium this season. I might be wrong, I'm sure he'll correct me, but I don't recall Quinn being particularly productive. But Newgarden now on the back straight, running his Colton Herta livery down towards the apex at turn 14, and Newgarden has got Bazza behind it, but not to worry about that. DRS is now closed, and what can Matt Roseman do with the final two corners on this one? He's exiting the penultimate quite nicely, and now it's carrying the speed through the final corner. And what can Matt do is a little bit slow through there, just scrubbed off a little bit of time, but it's still going to be a 34.2, which is going to put him P3 currently.
Another one of my favourite liveries out there, the Gainbridge Honda. We all love this thing. Even though it's not really been particularly successful, I suppose, in Colton Herta's hands.
Oh, he's awful this season.
I mean, it's better than Zakovic's running it, though, so I mean, we'll take what we can get. But moving on, we see Lesty coming through. Now, he is coated in pinks and magentas and silver. It's an interesting take on the pink liveries. It goes second fastest. It's we like a bit of pink, and that's certainly pink. Now, what on earth is Splinter doing out there on the hards, invalidating? Is he trying to last the first challenge here or something?
He does this a lot, does Jamie Bromley. I think this is tactical once again, is that he's on his Joker and he wants to stay out of trouble. So he's going to start at the back because he knows that he has to do a qualifying lap. So he's going to go out there, invalidate. Well, that's the thing, is that I think you're probably safer kind of being upwards. If you can get up towards the front, then it is sort of not tripping over everything as Jess is out there on her fast lap as well. So yeah, I'd prefer to be near the front than at the back, because especially on sim damage, which of course everyone runs in JACKOCAR, there's 100% chance of wing damage on lap 1, or especially around the first 4 corners. And if you're coming at the back of that, you're either coming face to face with a car that's pointing in the wrong direction, or you're running over a bit of debris and picking yourself up a puncture. And if that happens, Jamie's Joker is immediately effectively out of the running. So yeah, it's a thing that he always goes for. Not quite sure I always agree with it, but what can Jess do? She's looking for her win and to punch her way to the playoffs. And what can she do? It's going to be a 34.888, so that's going to put up in net P6.
Beating Jamie Wright. Isn't that impressive? Jamie Wright, you've made a mistake on the Decay series, my friend. You are going to be exposed, my friend. And you're never going to hear the end of it. As we ride on board, or at least I am, with Michel Goris, who's gone for the Alfa Romeo sort of colour on there, with a bit of red and black. I'm a fan of this. I wish we can get a better shot of it. I've just got an on board. I want to see this on the outside.
Yeah, that's what I've got at the moment as well. There we go.
There we go. Look at that. I'm a fan of this. This is like an alternate reality Ferrari. Oh, this is nice.
Are you a fan of the metallic look colour?
Oh, it gives me 2007, 2008 Ferrari vibes, if you remember those that were metallic red. And
Well, he's gone
it's
fastest.
fastest as well. Oh, you look good, you're fast. I mean, it can't get any better.
Well, and also...
Oh, it can, because Yuri's had a spin.
I was going to say, and unfortunately, Alexander Rossi is effectively sat himself in Yuri's car, and that's what happens when you put a loser's livery on. You end up pointing in the wrong direction and starting at the back of the grid, and Yuri, the man that's leading the regular season in points, unfortunately, is going to be starting the back that not only has he spun around on his qualifying lap, he's also invalidated way before that as well. So Yuri starting at the back with Jamie Bromley, Ben Harrett, Jacko and Kaya. Well, that's definitely a quintuplet of fantastic drivers, let's say. And what I'm going to say is we were just alluding to the chaos that might happen on lap 1. And the fact that you either want to be right at the front, or at least within the first 2 rows, or do a Jamie Bromley and try and tiptoe your way around without falling over anyone. What you don't want to be is in P9.
And yeah, that's definitely not what you want to be. Wouldn't it be a shame if you were a Cup Series driver coming down to try and stamp out a victory and end up in the middle of the pack for a K Series race? Oh! How weird is that? As we see Yuri going way off the road, trying to delay the end of the session as much as possible. I mean, you might as well do some donuts. Evidently, he's just heard me celebrating his imminent death.
I think he's... Oh, there we go.
Is he disconnected?
Disconnected or something? It looked like he was trying to emanate Quinn from the Championship 5 last season, but there we go.
He's the one who went off there. Someone else went off there as well. I think it might just be the lobby being a bit funky there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but well, session over, and we're sitting here waiting for something to happen because at the moment I'm just looking at chess. There we go. There we go. So Michel Gorre's pole position takes it by 400ths of a second, or just the shadow under 400ths of a second ahead of Quinn. So Quinn won't be happy at all. He thought he'd be the fastest, but Michel Gorre's coming in with a 33.280 ahead of Quinn. Leslie will be happy in P4 with Matt Shepherd P5. Newgarden will be happy there P5 in qualifying with Robin Border, Jess, Bazza, J. Luke, your two-time Cup Series champion, down in P9 with Rico P10, Marco Schneider, Thomas Nevitt and Kaya were the only drivers that managed to set a lap. And then we've got Yuri, Jacko, Ben Harrett and Jamie Bromley in the banter bus at the back of the field that are going to have to find their way through. And hopefully with Jamie Bromley on his Joker, well, he's got Matt Lester on his Joker as well, who's right at the front of this one. So already Jamie's at a massive disadvantage. But, well, we know that it's all about getting through the first lap unscathed. And what can they do? Do we get blue skies? I've not seen otherwise in the comments that it's going to be wet. But we do know that we tend to have... that looks better. So, we do tend to have kind of rolling weather here where it can turn wet pretty quickly. So we will see if that is the case. But Yuri says, if Jamie doesn't win, he's not my champion. He's not anyone's champion. There's even the ART guys just sit there and through gritted teeth and just like, oh, for God's sake, not again, as he lucks his way.
That's bold to come from someone who didn't even manage to win this title last season.
That's true, and especially giving up on the last lap as well.
I know, like, come on. It's your own brother, like.
Yeah.
Who didn't stay in this tier to stat pad.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it was tactical on Yuri's part that if he gave up the win to Leroy in the Championship 5, that Leroy would be booted up to Cup and banished forever, and Yuri could continue to stat pad.
Well, it's not working because he's last at the minute on the grid. Although I must say, I'll give you a little bit of credit, Yuri. That livery does slap. It's taken a while to get the Alexander Rossi colours on. It's a shame though, this is going about as badly as Rossi's season by the sounds of it. In Texas it all went a bit wrong in the pits. Well,
as we line up, getting ready to send us down towards turn 1 on the formation lap, it's going to be Michel Gorris leading away from Quinn, Matt Lester, Matt Shepherd, Matt Rosemond. Make it a triple threat of Matts from 3, 4, 5, Robin Border, Jess, Barry Baldwin, Jamie Wright in P9 with Rico in P10, Marco Schneider, Thomas Nevitt, Kyle Langston P13, Yuri Haselager, Jacko Ricketts, Ben Harrett and Jamie Bromley are your grid, as we've got 17 people in here. And Oh, but let's have a guess. So this is a circuit where you shouldn't see too many retirements. You really shouldn't. It's very hard to hit a wall here. Very hard to hit a wall. How many retirements are we going to see?
I remember. I don't remember exactly which driver it was that did it, but they were coming through turn 7. I think it was in season 3 this happened, and they did manage to overturn the car. So there are definitely walls you can hit around here. I reckon we're going to have 12 finishers. There'll be 3 safety cars, and shall I throw my winner in there as well? Let's say it'll be Rage Man, because there'll be a bit of chaos. I'm basically going for all sorts of... Listen, we've just watched the Australian Grand Prix at the weekend. Pretty much anything can happen. It's a shame we don't have red flags in here, because you just know Jacko would be eating that up, don't you?
Oh, 100%. And I'd like it that it could be almost like iRacing and Assetto Corsa, where you can have a race director that
get me well on the
controls.
controls.
Imagine that, just going to throw a red flag with 3 laps left to go if someone's leading by like 40 seconds. Be like,
There's a bird on the track. Stop the race.
Oh, there was 3 bits of gravel. We're going to have to stop everything. Oh, one of the marshals dropped his flag. But well, weaving down the back straight is finally we've got who's that? Is that Jamie Bromley in the back? No, it's not. It's behind Jamie Bromley. Who is it? Is it Ben Harrett?
Is that?
No, who is it?
Who is this? Is it
Kaya?
It's Kaya.
It's Kaya. Of course, it's Kaya.
That's his real pace.
Yeah. The first man to lose positions on the formation lap, but Kaya out there as we trying to make his way through. As luckily he's not actually left his battery on the formation lap, so that's an upgrade from what we've seen previously. But he has already been for a trip through the gravel by the state of those side pods. So we're going to get ready to kick this one off. 28 laps to go, and
you think we're not going to hit any walls today?
We hope you enjoy this one. This is the JACKOCAR Kia series. Make sure you tune in on Thursday for the JACKOCAR Cup series as they continue their season over. I believe it's Canada this week, but
yes.
Looking forward to that one. Hopefully it's a bit better than last season's. Make sure you give us a like on the video if you are watching, wherever you're watching from in the world. Of course, drop into the comments and say hi. We're about to kick this one off. We've got a couple of DSQs. They're going to start about 1.5 foot back in their grid slots. We're getting ready for the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Pause. Out. Surely, long wait there, but it's a good getaway from the pole sitter as Michelle Goris is going to try and come across Danny Quinn, but Danny's going to hold the inside line. Will he try and run to the inside? Matt Shepherd behind is going to try and go 3 wide, and it's Lesty, in fact, that's got the good run around the outside, and he's all pinched Danny Quinn there into Matt Shepherd. That's just a bit of tit for tat, nothing wrong with that. Behind, you can see Matt Lesper and Matt Shepherd as Marcus Schneider has already got 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Kaya. As Kaya's in 14th. And so where is Rico? Is he missing anything? We've got an end plate. We've got 2 end plates out there, so we're going to have to play the game. Who's missing an end plate?
Lost his whole front wing. That's what's happened.
Marco's lost his front wing. Rico's just gone for a second spin.
Thomas Nevitt's got front wing damage as well. So it's Kaya and Thomas Nevitt. You see, it's weird because Kaya did pull off the track as we go green once again. Oh, and a spin for Jamie Wright, he's been collected. Disqualify him! Disqualify! About 5-second penalty is not enough for such terrorism. Unacceptable.
I missed it. I didn't see it. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll save the clip for you.
Right, we've got Kaya out the race. Who would have thought? He's been murdered by J. Luke. We've got Ben Harrett is running around in 9th position without a front wing. So he's going to have to make his way back to the pit lane. We've got no safety car out because it's just Kaya. So I'm sure they were expecting it.
Just Kaya.
So lap 1 is now done, and we all go back to the front. We've kind of been looking towards the back, but it is already Michelle Goris from Matt Lester, Matt Shepherd up in P3 as Michelle, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 1. Quinn now down to P4, so he's got some work to do. He's got Roseman behind him, so Matt Roseman looking to do some work as Splinter goes up into P10. So he's had a good start on that Joker as we've got into the box Marcus Schneider and Ben Harrett, 4 new front wings, and Jamie Wright sitting there on that penalty. I mean, what is he doing? He's just gone wide into the pit lane. So, I mean,
he's trying to make this look as easy as possible for when he comes back through the field.
I mean, if he goes a lap down, he will never ever live this down.
He's taking his 5-second penalty, which he got. Basically, what he did, he spun. Oh, we've lost
Lesty's
Lesty.
gone
Lesty's
round.
gone. No, he spun where Lesty has just spun through turn 7, and then Kaya basically just drove into him. It wasn't really Jimmy Wright's fault. Maybe he was slightly starting to drive back onto the track, but Kaya just sort of appeared and they hit each other. But that's luckily not what happened with Lesty when he spun. Yuri had to take it to the grass to avoid him. And that's a shame because Lesty was the highest running medium compound tyre runner. Second place, was going to have a good strategy advantage, but now he's fallen down a wee bit. Still in the running now.
Yeah, so we're still going. It's Matt Shepherd cruising up to the back of Michel Goris now. So Shep, he's burnt out about 35% of his battery. As we've got a yellow flag for J-Luke.
Has he got floor damage, I wonder? Because I mean, it was a decent whack. I mean, it was enough to take Kaya out of the race entirely. So it wouldn't be at all surprising. Splinter has already managed to move halfway up the grid into P9 on his Joker, remember. Pit window opens on lap 3, so Splinter can make his one and only stop from this point onwards. The rest can make their first stop from now to the end of lap 14, I think. And then their second stops from 15 onwards. So that's where we stand. So Splinter, keep your eye on him.
Yep, of course, mandatory 2-stop for everyone here in JACKOCAR across both tiers. Unless you're running your Joker, which is allowed 1 race per season in both the regular and the postseason, apart from the final race of the season at Championship 5. And that is currently Jamie Bromley and Matt Lester. So Matt Lester, who's had the spin in P8, Jamie Bromley, who's now only 3 seconds behind him on the hards in P9, and Jess just jumped out of the way for him as Jamie came through last time around. And this is the argument I'm going to continue having with Jess, is that if you keep jumping out the way and getting out and just pulling to the side and letting people through, you'll never do anything. You're going to have to learn to fight it. If you want to, if the game plan is to eventually make a Championship 5, you're going to have to do it through being ruthless. And with Bazza and Rageman fighting, we'll see who's the ruthless one between the pair of them, because Rageman's gone a little bit deep, so that's going to give Bazza the run through onto the back straight, but it looks as though Robin's had a decent exit. Bazza's going to have to be on battery, as he is. He's going to get an extra bit of DRS dosage.
Matt Shepherd, they've practically come to a stop at the hairpin. They're doing their best not to hit into each other. Matt Shepherd, if he was a little bit more aggressive in there, he might well have taken the lead. Well, he has now, because Michel Goris is pitted. As has Quinn, as has Newgarden, as has Yuri, who I sort of just mentioned was in the top 10, but he was up to 5th place. He'd already made 9 spots. So I probably should have given that a bit more credit, but again, he is about 12 seconds a lap quicker than the rest of the field. So that sort of ruins it a little bit. But yeah, that will release Lesty, who I forgot was on a Joker. That's why I was a bit downbeaten by him. But yes, he is still in a good position. Releases him, releases Splinter and Matt Shepherd. Well, he'll have to gun it on this lap, but he's running a Scott Dixon style livery. He's going to have to do a Scott Dixon style luck his way to the front, or strategy his way to the front. He always manages it, doesn't he, Scott Dixon? I was watching again the IndyCar yesterday, or on Sunday, and he did just magically show up in the lead fight in the last 50 laps. I have no idea where he came from.
He's always good at TMS, is Scott Dixon, though. But
I know,
yeah,
but
it's the same as Newgarden, always tends to show up at the front at TMS. But Lesty, back in the game, we know that the softs around here die very, very quickly, so the top 3 on the softs are going to have to box very, very shortly, because the guys on the mediums will just cruise past them, and Matt Lester on his Joker will be very happy with where he is. Of course, the spin has dropped him down from what would be a net race lead, because he was fighting with Matt Shepherd, who's now 7.2 seconds in the lead, so Matt Shepherd will be in this lap surely. But that's a huge advantage to have over Rageman and Bazza, and so Lesty, he's going to have to utilise that gap that he'll get making one stop. But as you can see, change of position there between Rageman and Bazza. So and Rageman gives a little bit of a squeeze on exit, and that's now going to put.
Look at Lesty. They're going to pit these two. Or they're not going to pit Lucky.
God.
That's lucky.
Yeah,
My goodness.
I wonder if that forced Bazza into another lap as Marco Schneider retires at turn 2.
For a safety car, and we do get one as Lesty takes the lead in perfect timing there. And Matt Shepherd's pit stop, of course, in perfect timing too, because he should come out nicely in front of Michel Goris, who was all being attacked there by Quinn. So it was all actually starting to heat up there, and that safety car comes at a time to let it all calm down. But Matt Shepherd, surely the big winner and all that. And there you go. There's that Scott Dixon luck that we're looking for. That's it just happens, doesn't it? It always happens.
And he'll be happy. He's dropped back into P5, and as you say, fresh tyres. He can attack the guys. This is going to hurt massively Bazza and Robin for not pitting on those softs, because they're going to have to do at least 2 laps under the safety car and then a fast lap. So these tyres are going to be at least 7 laps old by the time they get to pit, which means they will have nothing left in them. Jamie Bromley will be
2 seconds.
Semi-happy. Okay, we'll say Jamie Bromley will be semi-happy with his P4 as Jess gets a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. No need to do that, as unfortunately she's down in P12. She's going to have to serve that once we go green, as well, yellow flags are out. Owen's left me. Everyone leaves me. Maybe I should start making up some driver profiles. He didn't like the driver profiles, so they're gone for a bit. We'll see if he comes back, because if he doesn't come back, we'll start saying things like, I don't know, Yuri is the largest collector of Spider-Man pogs in the Northern Hemisphere, or Ben Harrett has 17 pairs of trousers that have cute written on the backside. As into the pit lane comes Bazza and comes Splinter to make his safety car stop. Jamie, what's the game plan here? Because off of the hards and on to, is it a set of mediums? So he's going to try and run a set of mediums to the end. Interesting. I'm still none the wiser. I still don't know if the safety car rule has come to Kia. I'm sure I was told last week, but I've completely forgotten. I might wipe my mind of Kia every single Thursday. Once it gets to about 9 o'clock, I lose all track and thought about what happened last week. But Jamie comes out in a P8 position. So Matt Lester, Robin Border, Matt Shepherd, Michelle Gorris, Danny Quinn, Newgarden, Bazza, Splinter, Ben Harrett and Jacko are your top 10. Interesting call there from Jamie. Equally from Bazza to make a non-mandatory stop. Of course, in Cup you can make one, but I'm sure I'll be told otherwise if it is the case of. I'm sure I'll be told otherwise if it's the case that the Kia guys do have the same rules Cup, because of course that has changed mid-season, and
I was asked about this. I asked about this last week, and Jacko says it's, I think, next season.
Yeah, I thought it was next season as well. So Jamie Bromley and Bazza both made a stop. So Jamie, on his Joker, came in under the safety car onto a set of mediums.
What this does, it means he'll have a lot more speed. Because he falls a couple of places and then can move himself back up naturally. Whereas I suppose if he was stuck on those hards for a restart, he might have fell down anyway. Maybe that's his logic for it. And then he can make his Joker, but the problem is it won't give him the extra points now, will it? Because he will have made 2 stops, but he can still only make the 1 mandatory stop. But it is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because it does put him behind a number of people who have already stopped.
Yeah, so I've had confirmation from at JACKOCAR 2, which you can go and follow on Twitter if you'd like to find out more about the league. Safety car rule is still the old rule, so no Cup rule here in Kia. The rule that was effectively brought in to negate J-Luke, Jake and Iceman from winning did a terrible job of it in Monaco, because that's exactly what Jake was going to do until he effectively just let Kyle win on the line, and of course it was Iceman across the line first, so 2 of the 3 that the rule was brought in to stop from winning ended up on the podium. But safety car here, lap 7 of 28. You said 3 safety cars and 12 finishes, so we've got to lose 4 more cars and have a little bit more chaos in the next 2/3 of the race.
I can't lie to you, I'm having a bit conservative with my number of finishers, and we're down to 15 already. But I mean, I'm sure you'll remember how messy the Cup Series restarts were, considering you were part of them. They were all over the show. There was a turn 7 multi-car pile-up, I believe, on the first restart, and that was just after a turn 1 pile-up as well. So I mean, it all went off on the restart. So we could be in for quite an entertaining sort of restart lap, which hopefully will be the next lap. I don't really see why we'd need to go any further. Are we going to get the first playoff point, by the way, at the end of this lap?
We are, and it's going to go to Matt Lester, so he's going to add to his tally. So the man that won the opening race of the season will add a stage point to his name, if all things go to plan. Of course, we've seen people spinning on under the safety car. Of course, J. Luke did it in Spa just a few weeks ago, spun under the safety car and lost himself about 3 positions there. So Matt Lester will be keeping it glued to the black stuff and wanting to come home with an extra point to add to his post-season tally that will kick off in just a few weeks' time. So Robin Border, what can he do on those old soft tyres? Matt Shepherd behind is going to really have to be careful here because he doesn't want to overdrive the car. He's got the best tyres out of anyone in the top 5 positions. You've got Michelle Goris, of course, pole sitter, and Danny Quinn, P2 in 5th position as well. So some quick guys up at the front. We've got a couple of people that may be out of position. Yuri down in P12. Of course, he was running well, but dropped down. Of course, Jacko equally should be a little bit faster, but down in P10. So let's see what Lesty can do with this restart. Is it a case of the Gareth technique and effectively slowing everyone down and then just gunning it as late as possible? As we're going to get going very, very shortly. DRS line anytime from now. Waiting as Robin pulls up alongside, and he's gone. And nice, it's a restart. Good restart there from Alistair. Robin Border snap as he got on the throttle pedal there, and that's going to allow Michelle Goris to go around the outside. Who's going to get the run? Because just no grip left there for Robin, and he's going to lose at least a position to Michelle Goris. They're still side by side, but with the inside line, Michelle's going to take it, and Quinn is probably going to try and think about it as well, but doesn't quite have the run on him. Will he use a little bit of battery and send it down the inside as they go up towards turn 6? He's going to think about it. Late on the brakes, and Robin actually quite nicely sees that coming and gets out the way.
He knows he's got a pit as well, doesn't he, Rageman? So he doesn't want to ruin someone's race as they head through that turn 7. Like I said, I don't want to get too much on the curb. You could have an incident. In fact, Rageman did get on the curb and did have to sort of get out of it. As we see Lesty off and out. Wow, that is a big surprise. That's on the exit of 7, is it? On the way to 8? And he's gone where Maldonado famously once sort of wandered off in a practice session one year. But I've never seen a car crash there. As we see a safety car come out again for one of the 2 jokers. And, well, he's lucky he got that playoff point. Sadly, that's all he's going to get today.
You can't hit a wall around here. No one hits walls around here. As Lesty's out the race after hitting a wall. Yeah, it must have been a dreadful commentator. But
did you see what they called me before the race started? Apparently, I'm in the tweet as Michael Owen. So they should maybe give that to you, frankly.
Superb analysis.
To finish first, you had to be the winner.
As well, as you say, another safety car. A lap, or not even a lap after the safety cars come in. Unfortunately, as you say, Matt Lester, the one thing that will possibly just alleviate the pain, as he will be taking a playoff point. He doesn't need to worry about regular season points. That's the only benefit. Of course, he wasn't a joker, so he would have taken a heap of them. He'd managed to win the race on that joker as well, so he'll be kicking himself, I'm sure. But that will open the door, and really you've got to look at the top 3 at the moment are your real kind of race protagonists, I'd say, because Matt Shepherd's looking pretty handy tonight for his first ever win. Michelle Goris and Danny Quinn, if you're Rage Man, he's got to do at least another 2 laps on those soft tyres as well. So he's going to think, I just want to pit, guys, please just let me pit. But nope, he's got to stay out. Of course, the safety car rule means non-mandatory under the safety car for these guys. Ben Harritt up in P6, Newgarden and Yuri up P7 and P8. Jacko now up to P9, Splinter and now up to P10 with the demise of Matt Lester. Jamie Wright off the back, and he's doing his China tactic, isn't he, where he makes about 400 pit stops. He's made another one. He's down in 14th position, so he is moving forward. Unfortunately, it's just when other people retire.
So Splinter, just to be clear, he made his stop under safety car.
Yes.
So yeah, that really is now confusing, because if he'd made that under green, I mean, he could have possibly got these to the end, but now, I mean, yeah, he really is in the pack. He lost a place he lost 2 places on that restart, then got bailed out by Lesty retiring. So yeah, I'm not sure this is working for him. I don't see a scenario where this turns out in his favour, to be honest with you.
So I've just looked at the Cup chat on Twitter. This is insider knowledge. Jamie Wright is on a wheel, which is why he's driving like he's got 2 broken wrists.
Well,
There's still no excuse.
surely a wheel would
It's easier.
help you improve rather than make you drive blind. I mean, he took about 12 attempts to get into turn 1. That's just a right hand. Just turn right.
I like to think that it's like one of those wheels, like a VTEC wheel or something. There's no force feedback, or it's like a forklift, and there's just a handle, and you have to spin it one way to go, like, because he's out there trying to warm the tyres up. But well, I would say I don't want to jinx him, but I would love nothing more than see him causing a massive accident and leaving in disgrace.
He's got some dodgy wheel off a Chinese website.
Chinese.
Of a Chinese website. For which 2010 Thrustmaster or something. Because he's just not driving very well, is he? He's not going to use this in Cup Series. I'm gonna assume.
Oh, I hope so.
This isn't going to be a very good omen. Although I suppose you have to learn somewhere, but that's actually the most embarrassing thing for Kia Series, isn't it? The Cup Series best driver ever decided he's going to use this place as a testing field. That's actually... I don't know why Jacko's allowing this to happen while he's in the same race. I don't know, Jacko, run your league better, man.
You'd say that, but then Jacko's supposedly racing in Cup, which is, if not as much of a disgrace of bringing up someone. Then that's effectively like bringing up their free driver into F1 and saying, go on, have a free run. I mean, they've done that pretty much before. It was called Lance Stroll, but it's
Wow. Let's not abuse Lance. Mr. Strolovich is a very good driver.
He is. In theory, he could be in F1 for the rest of his life if his dad owns the team. So
that's a good point, really. Does he have to wait till his dad sort of?
That's the bucket? This is what I was talking to someone previously about. This is that in theory, he could hold the record for the most amount of races entered, because if his dad just stays in F1, like if Aston Martin keep doing well, in theory, Lance could be in it until he's like 40. And just keep. He's going to do an Alonso and just be like, he's going to have 500 races to his name.
He'll be an owner driver. That's what happened. When his dad kicks a bucket, then he'll just get the rights to his own team, and so he can probably drive both cars at that point.
Well, safety cars in this lap. Don't worry, guys. We are paying attention. Michelle Goris in P2, Matt Shepard P1, Danny Quinn P3. They're the ones you need to look out for. Rageman is effectively going to be a bit of a rolling roadblock on those old soft tyres. Equally, Bazza needs to make a stop, as his first one was under safety car, so is not mandatory. So what can Matt Shepard do compared to... It was a good start from Matt Lester. However, the first sector was really good. The second sector, however, didn't go so well. But, looking forward to seeing what we get as...
Just spun.
Dropped it under safety car again.
But in a straight line though, has he maybe just stopped dead rather than had a spin? Either way, he's put himself a wee bit behind.
Ben
has attacked a lower tier driver. That should be punishable by a ban. Now we're going to see Michelle Goris, and no one can
It's the best tactic. It's genuine. It's the best tactic. I don't know why more people don't do it. Wait until the line and go.
Yeah, because no one for some reason is able to anticipate it. They always try to, but for some reason they just can't. It does appear to be the best strategy. As Ben is into the back of Rageman now, having already attacked Bazza, who's on the inside of Yuri, and Jack, who's trying to get involved as well. He's trying to... he hasn't put Newgarden on the wall. They were side by side. Might well have just been a car losing it on the exit. As Ben's person goes off the road, and Jack was trying to run the outside of Bazza. Good luck getting that one done. At the front, though, Matt Shepard, I mean, as we say, he just got the restart right. They know what they're doing on these restarts. Almost better than the Cup Series drivers, frankly, sometimes. Yeah,
absolutely. We know that there are some terrible Cup Series drivers. Especially some guys that run in team speed. So
especially them ones.
Yeah, I know, awful. And so Ben Harrett, of course, ART driver, racing up against Rageman. And Ben, he's had a broken front wing to start the race, but he's got himself back up onto P5. Is he going to S-house his way up to another race win here? He's got the washed American driver behind him in Speedway Racer is Alexander Rossi, the wannabe. Is losing ground. You can see perhaps Ben using a little bit of battery on Robin. Does he want to get the move done? He's going to send it down to the inside at the apex.
Robin, be careful with this.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see Like, pull to the, if you're going to pit, pull to the right-hand side. Pull to the right-hand side. Is he going to go? Yeah, he does. Go. So, Ben Harrett goes in. Robin Border goes in. So that's a second...
Oh, no, he's hit the wall. He's lost it on the grass, as Rageman. I'm sure that broke the front wing.
Let's have a double check as he comes into the box. Is there a new front wing being readied up? And it might be that it's too late. Yeah. Yes, it is a new front wing. So he's lucky, actually, because sometimes the game doesn't change it. So a couple of green lap pit stops here. We've got J. Luke, Robin, Jess, Matt Rosemond is in for a new front wing as well. He was running around with no wing apart from a nose cone. So that means that is strategy done for those guys. We have Matt Shepard now leading by 1.8 seconds ahead of Michel Goris. So Matt Shepard really enjoying it here in China, and it's all about consistency now for Matt Shepard. It's something that he's maybe struggled with in the past. Hasn't had the rub of the green when it comes to really getting an entire race together, but he's managing to pull out a gap. Of course, after the restart, he's already pulled out 2 seconds. So is he harvesting that Red Bull energy, watching the poor Mercedes get absolutely obliterated under DRS? It was like watching... That was like F1 versus Freaker. That wasn't even F3. It was... to pull out 2 seconds in a sector and a half. Well, that's almost what Matt Shepard has done, as he's done this safety car restart perfectly. Michel Goris is now under threat from Quinn, so we've got another yellow flag for Jamie Wright, who has decided to
take a left.
Yeah, you've got to turn. Yeah, you've got to turn it the right way to go left, Jamie. You can't. Maybe the wheel concept is new to him, but you can see he's gone for a bit of a dip in the gravel as well, as he's got a Kaya-looking livery now that's covered in mud and gravel. But into the pit lane now comes Bazza. So this is Bazza's first green flag stop. So 1 of 2 now being done for him. So he will be in later on, surely, for a set of softs. Quinn half a second behind Michel Goris, battling over P2. Quinn's wanting to find his way to the playoffs. This is probably Quinn's strongest race for a while. He's been there or thereabouts, of course, on his Joker, I believe it was. I had an incident, I never remember if it's Kia or if it's Cup, because of course the two blend into one, having commentated on one and driven in the other. But Quinn P3, Michel Goris P4, P2, and of course Yuri having a solid run up to P4 and using a little bit too much runoff there. You'll be ended up picking up penalties if you run too much wider than that. But Jacko equally, P5, he won't be too displeased with that, but he is falling off the back of Yuri.
Yeah, of course, they're still waiting to get into that second pit stop phase. As it stands, obviously, they're all going to have to make one more stop because Splinter made his under safety car. I really hope he's aware that you can't do that for a Joker. That'd be a pretty grim way for him to lose out as he moves up to P6 on the road. Of course, the question I'm going to now bring up is what tyres do these guys go on to for their last stint? Do they do more mediums or do they go for softs? And obviously that'll depend on when you actually box, but that means you'll have some undercutting, overcutting going on. Hopefully we'll see some people shake it up. Of course, in qualifying you only use one set of tyres, so you'll have plenty of tyres available to you. So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on that.
Oh, Bazza, you've just been sold, son. As Ben Harrett was got past very early on in the straight, had DRS, so Bazza burnt all of his battery, and then Ben just very easily just broke a little bit earlier, let Bazza go long, and went off the track, and Ben Harrett retook the position. So sold him a dream there into the breaking point, but Bazza trying to stay with him. Of course, these guys on relatively fresh tyres, 1 lap old for Bazza and 2 laps for Ben Harrett, as we've got an O from Owen.
Yeah, Bazza took a little bit too much curb and was lucky to save it, actually, in fairness, as Lesty says he's had enough and decides he's not going to continue watching a race that he could well have won. We're going to get a stage point for Matt Shepard in a moment, and then after he finishes this lap, the second pit stop phase can commence from lap 15 onwards. And has he really never won a race before, Matt Shepard? Because you wouldn't be able to tell with how he's driving right now.
No, yeah, I said this season that he was one of my favourites to go far in the championship, or in the playoffs at least, and into the championship 5, but hasn't really kind of picked it up. He's had some issues here and there. Of course, had a couple of tangles that have cost him potential podiums and race wins. As we've got another car around, it's either Jamie or J-Luke. It is Jamie or J-Luke, one of the two. It's Newgarden or J-Luke. But it is Jamie.
Funnily enough.
Weirdly, it's Jamie. But he's gone around. So he's now under threat from Newgarden. And maybe, like you say, this is Jamie's decided to not only move to the wheel for this race, but move to the wheel with no assists immediately, which is bold. Which might be the case why he's struggling a little bit, perhaps on the traction or or lack of ABS. But as Newgarden tries to go down to the inside, as Jamie once again misses his apex, but a little bit of a better run that we've seen so far compared to qualifying. As Newgarden will continue to chase him down after having that spin earlier on and losing his front wing. So Matt Roseman down in P14, who'll be looking for a Championship 5 for a second time in 2 seasons, as Splinter now on to the back of Jacko. So Jamie Bromley on his way, but of course still has a stop to make because the first one was non-mandatory, and that means that his Joker is effectively out the window, which is a shame for Jamie, but as you say, is a bit closer. But yeah, Quinn about to make a move. He's going for the outside, so Michel Goris is going to make him go the wrong way around, but with the advantage of DRS, he should be able to hold on to this one, because Michel's going to try and take to the inside.
Will he take into the pits though as well, I'm wondering? Because I'm surprised Michel's even fighting this still with next to no ERS. Is he expecting a pit stop? Well, he is expecting a pit stop. And he's had to slow right up there not to hit the back of Quinn, which would suggest he thought they were both going to come in.
I think that was him. Yeah, that was 100% a case of do whatever the other person doesn't do, and you don't want to pick up 5 seconds by speeding into the pit lane. That's exactly what he's done. So Michel is unfortunately possibly just caught himself with a race, well, effectively a race ruining result there with that 5 second time penalty. Yuri has had a decent stop. He's out there on a set of mediums to run to the end. So now really the battle is between Matt Shepherd, Danny Quinn and Yuri for this race win, because of course Jamie Bromley will need to make the stop that will put him further back in the pack. So Splinter will be dropping back a couple of positions. Newgarden still yet to get past Jamie Wright. In fact, they're still within that 1 second window. Matt Roseman on the hard tyres is going to come in off of the hard tyres, as Jamie Bromley is going to come in as well. So he makes his stop. We've got a yellow in sector 1 for for Ben Harris, sorry.
Yeah, no, of course, the problem is if a safety car comes out now, then Yuri is in the box seat. And that's why these guys maybe can't risk staying out if they were to the top 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, stay out and go on to soft at the end, because that'll be another 4 or 5 laps they stay out, and at any point there we could get our third safety car. And so will these guys actually be forced into pitting? I was thinking we'd see some different strategies. Maybe some people will risk it, but let's see. As Matt Shepherd comes round, didn't pit on the last lap, which is the first available opportunity, but knowing what's happened before, I think they have no choice really but to pit. Splinter, will he be running around expecting his Joker to still be active? I fear he will be. As Jacko comes into the pits. Well, let's just see. Let's just see how this works out for Splinter. Maybe he will be the one who stays out and puts the softs on and gets exciting at the end. Thomas Nevitt will stay out as well and possibly disrupt Matt Shepherd's run, give him a little bit of time to catch up. And will Michel Goris at least make up some ground? No, he's well behind Quinn now. And so Matt Shepherd, he's still looking good in terms of the gap for DRS. This is seemingly going to plan this race as a pit stop phase, and he can just go to the end now. Yeah,
so the overcut worked for Quinn there. So he came in pretty much side by side with, or at least Michel Goris came in pretty much side by side with Quinn and came out, and he was about 0.8 of a second behind. So of course Michel has that lap extra of tyre warmth. So whilst Quinn gets those tyres up to temperature, Michel's going to be able to attack. But it does look as though around about 2/3 around this lap that Quinn is starting to get those tyres into the window. We know it takes around about a lap and a half for them to be fully up to temperature, but it looks that, well, Michel's now 10% battery as well, so he's not even been able to save. So he was absolutely ragging through it on his outlap to try and get the undercut on Quinn, but it's not going to work, and he's still going to use it, but once it gets under 10%, it effectively becomes pretty much pointless. But DRS is enabled for him. Can he close up? We've got a yellow for Jamie Wright as Michelle Glorious is getting closer and closer and closer. Is he going to be able to get a move done? Not quite able to. But Matt Shepherd now within striking range of Danny Quinn.
Well, this is it. We see Thomas Nevitt will not get in these guys' way, which is it's good to see. He gets a penalty for it, but it's better for the morals that he doesn't ruin someone's race, and I was sort of slightly hoping he would. Michelle Gurry's fastest lap, to be expected. He had 1 lap warmer tyres. Quinn hopefully can try and close up to Matt Shepherd on this lap. He's got a quarter of a second to do that and get some DRS. Michelle's obviously didn't work because, as you said, he bled his ERS, so there was no extra power, and that meant simply just using a little bit of ERS for Quinn would have been enough to defend it, but he's losing time to Matt Shepherd. I tell you what, for someone who's ever won a race, let's say, he'll be feeling pressure at this moment in time, and like I say, you just wouldn't be able to tell right now.
No, and like you said, that's where it is, and like from experience, it is exactly the same.
I'm jinxing it. Well, lose a bit of time.
As when you are in this position where you're potentially on your way to the first race win, and you've got guys that are close, let's say within that sort of like 2-second window, even a little bit more than that, even if it's under 5 seconds, has got a yellow down for Rageman. So Rageman's gone around. So hopefully that he's able to get going. Looks as though he is rolling, so it shouldn't bring out anything. But
I'll tell you what, that's exactly what Matt Shepherd nearly did, because he got all over the curb on the exit of turn 10, and it was looking a bit sketchy. He's lucky he didn't do what Rageman just did.
And I think that
ruined his race.
I think that's quite easy to do. You almost overdrive the car because the nerves of, if you're looking for your first race win, as you can see there, he sets the fastest lap, but it's immediately beaten by Quinn, and that's something that gets inside your head as well. If you see the guy behind you, directly behind you, is setting a faster lap time, you know that they're closing in, and Quintin didn't even have DRS on him that time around, so if he can get within it, you know that Danny's got a good chance of making the move. But Matt Shepherd has pretty much controlled the race when he's been at the front, and we saw in the last stint really that he was able to break a decent gap over everyone.
That's possible safety car? No, he's just missed the wall, Jamie Wright. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, it's fine. As Jamie Wright, well, maybe you should stay in Kia. He's down in 14th position and is under
tier below Kia.
Well, he's going to get lapped because the leaders are only 3 corners behind him at the moment. So
now, watch this. Look, he's going to lose it again through here, Matt Shepherd, and that it will cost him. The problem is, right, you're overdriving the car for his turn 9 and 10 because it's the lowest grip corner on the circuit, and Matt Shepherd is losing his head a little bit, because it's the last chance to pull away to stop getting into DRS range. Issue is, it's a corner you can only really go through at half throttle, or else you'll lose the rear end, and obviously it looks like Matt Shepherd is just trying to push the envelope a little bit, and it's costing him time. He's got more ERS, of course, than Quinn by a good amount, but, well, he's overdriving it. He's overdriving it, and Quinn is smelling blood. He's easily pulled away from Michel Gaurice, so it looks like it's only going to be a 2-horse race at the moment. Yuri looks too far behind to really make anything happen yet. So, this is, like I say again, he's burning a lot of ERS on the main straight, Matt Shepherd. Not the place you want to do it. He's never going to pass you there.
Yeah, it's like you say, this is, I think, a case of literally Matt realising that the win is within reach and seeing someone coming up behind that really the race was in the hands of Matt Shepherd, and he's lost a heap of time because he had around about a 3.5 second advantage before the pit stops, and so it's down to 0.6 of a second. Danny Quinn in second position. Well, this is where Quinn equally needs to keep his head, because he has previously tends to force the overtake, tends to force the move a little bit too much, and either ends up collecting someone or spinning or ending up making a rash decision. So there's a position on circuit, it's called the back straight, where you can effectively get past anyone without, you've got about 30 feet of room on either side of you. So Quinn has probably got the pace on him to get him on this lap because, well, you can see he's got 25% of battery, so he's got enough to attack him. But of course, Matt Shepherd will be looking at defending. Has got another yellow flag out there for
Thomas Nevitt.
Thomas Nevitt.
Ben Spurs. Maybe they've come together. But no damage, so no safety car. Again, they're getting away with it, these guys, you know.
Now we've got a collection that's Bazza that's gone around. So guys struggling on tyres out there, and that's not what these. Well, to be fair, these guys probably wouldn't. If I was Matt Shepherd, yeah, you can see this is just pushing too hard, and that's, if you do that too many times, that's a 3-second time penalty. So that would
tell you what,
gift wrap it.
That was his fastest lap of the race and legal. So, and I will laugh about that, but is that a thing he can now do and know he can get away with it? Because that, like I say, that's his fastest lap of the race. He already has 2 warnings, so that's the problem. He's on 2 warnings. Quinn only on the 1 warning. So, I mean, his heart would have been in his mouth there, but I'm wondering if he's just found a wee bit of an exploit, because that wouldn't only have given him a better run through the final corner, but it would have given him a better run towards turn 1, which will make this lap as well faster. So, yeah, that's a weird one from Codemasters. But,
I think you just said 90 words in about 12 seconds there. I was very impressed.
Sorry, I got very excited about that potential genius that has just come from a mistake.
No, it's fine.
Or was it a mistake?
I thought you were speaking in tongue for a second, but
maybe I was talking Chinese. I don't know.
But if I'm Quinn now, I'm looking at this long game. There's plenty of laps left. A lot of racing to go. Michel Goris is now out of this one, 2.9 seconds behind. He's dropped off. The fact that the DRS that Danny's had has allowed them to put away. But Danny's now burnt all that battery that he had left. What I would have done in this position, is he going to think as Matt makes a late defensive move, and that's going to put him out of shape for the next 2 corners. Yeah, so we'll see if Danny can make a move down the main straight. But you can see once again he's going to go and well, there's J-Luke picks up 10 seconds. So that's not just 1 corner cut, that's multiple corner cuts. But Danny Quinn now really, well, looking as though he's got a move to make on Matt Shepherd. Matt Shepherd's still putting his car in all the right places. But yeah, as I was saying, if I was Quinn, I'd sit here and just wait. Save up a bit of battery. You don't need to force the overtake. It looks as though he's got the confidence in the car compared to Matt Shepherd at this moment. Matt Shepherd's down to the same level of battery, really. You can see the LED light on the gearbox flickering as he tries to recover and harvest some energy down into the braking point at turn 6. So Quinn needs to just think about this long term. Save up some battery. You don't need to go on the offensive straight away, because all you do then is effectively tow Matt behind you for the rest of the race. So save up a bit of battery, think about it, maybe on around about lap 25, 26, and then that's when you make your move.
The thing is, they're mucking about here, but they're not losing time to the guys behind. So maybe that is giving Quinn the confidence to play with Matt Shepherd a little bit. Obviously, lap cars might be a problem. The reason Jimmy Wright got that 10-second penalty, because he moved completely off the road to make sure he didn't ruin that lead battle, which is a good thing because they were side by side. Now he's crashed, so that's probably another 10-second penalty if he doesn't get back on quickly enough. But I mean, Quinn really can do whatever he wants here, because he knows Matt Shepherd's going to defend it with his life. And again, moves to the inside line. Is he defending clean air doing that? You could debate that. As Quinn will just sit behind and follow. Will Matt Shepherd do his wee trick for the final corner again? No, he doesn't this time. And Quinn has the DRS. He's not quite using any ERS because he hasn't really got any. I agree with you. Just sort of sit behind, save some for a wee while, because you're quicker than him. You're quicker than the guy behind. It really gives Quinn the high ground in every situation, which means he should be able, really, for 3-4 laps, save 20-30% battery and go for it. But, well, he's doing it differently.
Yeah, and you can see he's especially going into the braking point at turn 1 and turn 2, he's like kind of jumping on the throttle and then having to brake and then jumping on the throttle, because he's got the speed, but there's nowhere really to make an overtake unless you're alongside. As Ben picks up 3 seconds, but you can see now.
Just wanted to point out on his penalty, that was at the last corner, so that, I mean, Matt Shepherd's lucky to get away with doing that twice. If I just hope he doesn't take any encouragement from those 2 times and does it again and then picks one up, because yeah, that's Ben Spurs proven that you do get the penalty for it.
As Danny's now up to 9% battery, so he really doesn't have that sort of attack amount of battery. You can get a small advantage on acceleration as J-Luke retires from the session in the pit lane. So our two-time Cup Series champion cannot hack it in Kia.
No, he can't. Not really a
Shameful.
surprise.
No.
What that means is that if we get one more retirement and one more safety car, I look like a genius. Issue is, who did I say was going to win the race? Rage Man, he's 11th. But we'll ignore that as we watch the actual fight for the lead.
We've seen stranger things. We've seen stranger things.
I wonder if Splinter's going to have any pace if we get a late safety car. Obviously, he pitted a wee bit later than the rest of them, but not by too much. It's running outside towards turn 1. Quinn, that surely doesn't work. Matt Shepherd will throw this back up the inside into turn 2 and surely just crowd Quinn out of room. But he's not quite doing it. Luckily, Quinn does back off because there could well have been an accident to turn 3 there. But, Matt Shepherd, you can't get off turn 4. Somehow they're doing this and still pulling away from the guys behind. I really don't know how they're doing this. But Matt Shepherd, how is he holding on here?
Yeah, he's doing a grand job so far, but it is looking as though it's a matter of time because Quinn is probing, and Matt Shepherd is really hemorrhaging time because he's going super defensive into almost every corner. So he really just needs to try and do a lap or two where he's just racing his own race. Trying to look behind, because at the moment all he's doing is effectively looking in his mirrors and giving Quinn the impetus to find a position. Because out of this final corner, out of turn 13, onto the back straight, Quinn hasn't really got the battery to attack from here. He's 7/10 back, so he's going to get alongside him with DRS. But if you're Matt Shepherd, who's equally got around about the same amount of battery, so Matt's not on the button, so he's not using it, but he is harvesting, you can see, into the braking point. He's going to take effectively the middle of the circuit, so it doesn't give Quinn an opportunity of making the move down. And that's just what he needs to do, but he's still got to do it for another 4 laps. So into the final corner, that's wide. Is that a penalty? Oh, he gets away with it again, does Matt Shepherd. He's really playing with fire here. But like you were saying, these two are quite battling quite ferociously and attack each other, but 6 seconds now back to Michel Goris, who's got a 5-second penalty to his name anyway. Yuri is 1.6 seconds and has been for the last 3 laps behind Michel, so there's no one really able to capitalise on what the guys doing at the front.
Yeah, they've got it covered as long as they don't come together at any point. Of course, that could happen in the last 2 or 3 laps. We hope it doesn't, but in JACKOCAR you can never really sort of expected to stay clean, I suppose, the way the rules package is. If Quinn sees a chance on the last lap against someone who'll be bricking it because they never won a race before, he'll go for it, you know what I mean? So, I agree with what you're saying with Matt Shepherd just running his own race, because I think what he's doing, he's overdriving to the DRS detection points and then realising he can hold on the straights. If he just drives it a bit more calm to get to the DRS detection points, I think he'll find that Quinn won't be able to live with him. Because of the ERS levels, he's only got really the DRS advantage itself, but he has enough ERS each lap, Matt Shepherd, to just about defend.
This might be the time, though. It was half a second, so this is Quinn's best opportunity. He's trying to find the inside line. Wow. He's going to send it, but he's going to go deep. Surely he's going to have to really hug that inside, and Matt Shepherd's going to come back at him. And, well, this is crunch time for Matt Shepherd. This is, can you stay with him and get him back? Because we've seen Quinn be the aggressor. Now, what can he do with effectively as these guys are battling with nothing? As Matt Shepherd's going to go down the inside into turn 1 and run him out wide. That's exactly what you need to do. Show him the door, and that's a brilliant overtake to take him back, because that was effectively exactly where he needed to put the car. Quinn gave the door to the inside to Matt Shepherd. Matt Shepherd was very, very grateful. Took it. Danny Quinn now isn't quite close enough to make a move into turn 6, but yeah, that's what I do. I mean, you can say it, just a snap of oversteer on exit as soon as he gets on the throttle. But yeah, effectively, if you're making that move, I mean, Matt's maybe a little bit more friendly than what I would have done. I would have run Quinn right to the outside and put him offline for the next 2 corners. But unfortunately, if you want to win your first race, you've got to do things like that. Well, even into the hairpin, I thought he'd defend a bit more. I said game over when he let him have the inside line, but luckily he was able to fight back. Now, you'll have seen that Michel Goris is now in 8th place. He has, I don't quite know how he's got there, but he's lost his front wing by smashing into the pit lane entry wall. He was obviously with Yuri, but, well,
maybe he was doing a pit on purpose, but he's lost his front wing anyway, so he's lost a bit of ground, which means that Splinter's chasing Yuri down for a podium. Quinn hasn't got that inside line this time, so Matt Shepard's learned from the last lap, and he's defended that inside well. Now they're going to wheel bind on the exit, side pod to side pod as well, could easily cause a bit of floor damage or simulation damage, but Matt Shepard's holding on all over the curb in that last corner, and Quinn, with just 2 to go now, is going to close him down towards turn 1. Will he have learnt from what Matt Shepard did to him on the last lap? He'll throw it around the outside once again, and if he can just keep himself side by side and throw it on the inside of 3, there's a chance here, and he is there, but decides against going for it. He's still got another lap to try and make it happen, and Matt Shepard is really driving on his mirrors, as is Yuri, because Splinter, who has 3 lap fresher tyres on the Joker. Could he take a podium yet? We'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
2 big fights happening out there.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. And of course, you've got Rageman and Bazza who've been battling for the last few laps as well. So we will try and tune in with everyone and try and see what's happening as Rageman just manages to miss the back end of Bazza as they come out the exit of the hairpin. Equally, Ben Harrett, pardon. Ben Harrett now on the back of got a bubble in my throat there. Ben Harrett now on the back of Jacko. He's going to attack him as we're going to tune in back with your lead battle in 2 seconds as they get into the onto the back straight, because this is where Quinn's going to start to get desperate, because you're about to start the final lap, and you can see maybe it's a much better run from Matt Shepard this time around. Quinn's got nothing left on battery. He's down on 3%. He's going to get some DRS. He's going to close in. But yeah,
does he?
He's always move. I mean, you can move like this. That's fine. This JACKOCAR. He's going to run him to the outside, and he's giving him the inside. Why would you give him the inside? Run him to the outside. So he's going to once again. Quinn's up the inside to start the last lap, so he's going to try and do exactly the same thing this time around. So he's going to use the DRS down the free, use the battery that Quinn is going to hold the inside. Oh, lovely there from Matt Shepard. Can he get it done? They're side by side around turn 1 and turn 2. Matt Shepard retakes the lead on the final lap of the race. Quinn gives him a tap. Right, elbows out, guys. This is exactly what you can do on this last lap. It is effectively, this is the battle for the race win. Bump and runs are fine.
I think he's going to go for it into 6. He's using the ERS. Matt Shepard's on his mirrors again. Down the inside. Quinn, he's not tried it here before. He's got through. And Matt Shepard, he wasn't expecting it. And for the first time in this race, Matt Shepard's going to have to be the chaser. The problem is, he's only got half a lap left. He's led this whole thing, basically, since Lesty went off at the safety car restart on lap 9. And can he hold on? You would have thought he couldn't, because Quinn is seemingly quicker, but Quinn was all over that curb at turn 9 and 10 and nearly lost it. Splinter well up into 3rd place, nothing to worry about there on those pressure tyres, but Matt Shepard, he was just not aware of what was going to happen into 6. He's got no grip, and surely Quinn's going to win this race, Gareth, on the last lap. What a move it was. Yeah, great move. But here we go, DRS, it's all or nothing now. It doesn't look as though it's going to be close enough. Is Matt Shepard going to lose the race win on the last lap of this one? It's going to be a late move. It's not close enough. And Danny Quinn has just got one more corner left to make it, to punch his ticket straight to the playoffs. He's going to pick up another race win here in Kia. And his first win for Red Dragon Racing as well. There you go, there is the time penalty. As Quinn takes the win, Matt Shepard in P2. He will be absolutely gutted about that, because it was a fantastic run, his best in JACKOCAR. Quinn, however, race win for him. Jamie Bromley does get the win, does get P3 ahead of Yuri. He managed to get that overtake in the late stages of that one. Jacko is going to come home in P5, which I'm sure he'll be happy with, having started towards the back of the grid and last row of the grid alongside the likes of Ben Harrett. So he's going to come home in P5. Ben Harrett, with that time penalty, is taking the NASCAR route. He's going to come across the line in P6. Rico in P7. Michelle Goris will be bemoaning a pretty shocking end to this one. As you say, hitting the wall to the pit entry. And he will come home in P8, lose himself a heap of points in the regular season to not only Yuri, but also the likes of Quinn as well. Mazza, P9. Thomas Nevitt on recovery is going very slowly into the final corner. Just checking to see if there's no puncture or anything, because that was cruising to the line. But Thomas Nevitt takes a 5-second time penalty. Is it going to be close enough for Jess? I don't think she's going to be able to move up past Thomas Nevitt. It's P11 for Jess. Robin Border fell back. Must have an issue there, because he was fighting a little bit further up, as Newgarden is your last of
the runners. But it is Quinn, your race winner tonight.
And I hope that he doesn't take, Matt Shepard doesn't take too much pain from this, because it was still a very good drive, but it will hurt, won't it? He just didn't defend the inside for 6. Surely he should have known there was someone coming. I mean, obviously it's easier to call it in the box than it is to be driving under the pressure, but he just let it happen. I'm frustrated. I can't imagine how frustrated he's going to be. But it's Quinn. He judged it perfectly. And it was a beautiful move in the end, wasn't it? He made that stick brilliantly well. As
Quinn says, hope you had fun watching that battle. Did enjoy it. Unfortunately, the wrong person won. I would actually have liked to see Matt Shepard winning that one. I think he deserved it. Fantastic race there. But equally, Danny's done a good job to take home the victory in 50 minutes and 18 seconds. Second on the grid, he comes home in first. Matt Shepard, P4.
I'm not sure Gareth has lost his mic or not. I can hear myself back, which is a bit odd. I don't know what's happening here. What is happening here? I can just hear myself back and forth. Right, okay. If he's gone, then I'll just quickly do the order. Quinn, Matt Shepard, Splinter. Or are you back?
No, go ahead.
Yuri, Jacko, Ben, Wasabi, Michelle Garis, Bazza, Thomas Nevitt, Jess, Rageman, Newgarden, The Retirements, J-Luke, Lesty, Marcus Schneider, and Shocker Kaya.
I mean, Kaya picking up the same result as J-Luke.
I mean, that proves what we were saying, really, isn't it? That they're the same as each other, really. They're one and the same.
I say bring Kaya back to Cup.
Yeah, give him a run out. Went well in Silverstone.
It did. Yeah, fantastic. Love that one.
Yeah, I bet you did.
So that ends tonight's race here in China as we complete China. Sorry, I said it wrong.
Come on.
China. Our race here in China. So that means we have only a few more races left to go this season before we start the postseason. Sorry. So Italy, Belgium, and San Marino to go are your final 3 races of the regular season before a 4-race playoffs at Brazil, Austria, Bahrain, and Silverstone. So Monza next week before, of course, Spa and San Marino. So completely different circuit, low downforce for everyone. Basically running 0-0 wings. Who is able to take it at the tempo of speed? We will find out. As will it be one of the Dutchmen? Of course, you've got the likes of Yuri, of Rico, of Michel Goris. Will he come back after one of his worst results of the week? But will it be Matt Shepard still hunting that first win? Matt Lester possibly should have been your race winner tonight. Looks as though he had it until he ended up in the wall on his Joker at turn 8. Or Danny Quinn, of course, race winner tonight and put himself straight into the playoffs.
I tell you what, it looks like Matt Shepard is happy enough with that. I mean, he's got that he didn't win the race, but he very much appreciated the battle, which is always the most important thing in this sort of situation. So that's good to see in the Kia chat.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think I'd be happy with P2 if I'd been leading the race for 70% of it.
I think you could appreciate the battle, though, if you were a part of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Not you know what a battle's like. They tend to move over for you, don't they?
Of course, yeah. Well, like I was saying to Iceman yesterday, that I facilitate his wins. You watch an Iceman win, at some point I've let him through. The only...
I don't even doubt that, to be honest.
So he's you're welcome, Benjamin. So, but yeah, that
well done your Cup Series titles, mate.
Exactly. So that will be coming up on Thursday. So do join us here on the channel on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. when the guys will be heading over to Montreal for the penultimate round of the regular season. Just Canada and Austria to go before we start our post-season. And well, Last year was a Joker win for Corey. Of course, Corey not here this season, so it's going to be a new winner to this season. Will it be a first-time winner? Will we see perhaps a Ben Harrett break his duck, a Jordan, who will not be here because, of course, he's serving a race ban, so he will not be taking the race win. So will it be maybe a driver coming up from Kia? I've heard a little bird tell me that Wace is racing on Thursday in Cup. He hasn't even turned up to a Kia race yet, and somehow he's found his way into Cup.
That's asking for trouble.
Oh, yeah, I know. I used to love racing against him. It was great fun. So he'll become
his dream, like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, do join us for that. Of course, if you're watching here, if you have enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Really does help. Of course, subscribe to JACKOCAR if you are not already. Of course, go to @JACKOCAR on Twitter for the main account, @JACKOCAR2. That's the number 2 for the Kia series and all the standings. Of course, driver of the day, Owen, as I always forget and get prompted after the race by Michael or by Ben. Who are your 2 selections?
Matt Shepherd and well, do I go Matt Shepherd because he drove really well to the end? This is my problem, right? I think Matt Shepherd and Quinn will probably both get the votes, but I'm gonna actually also put Quinn because he did everything right, and Splinter because even though it didn't look like the best strategy at the time, he did actually earn a podium off of it in the end and had decent tyres at the end, so maybe it would have worked out better overall. So I'm going for them 2. Sorry, I've done you over again, but you should stop asking me first.
No, really. I know. I really should take him off you. But no, I will put Matt Shepherd in there as the 3rd. And number 4, let's go for J. Luke. Let's see how many votes that Jamie gets.
You serious?
ART spam the chat. So yeah, J. Luke, Matt Shepherd, Danny Quinn, and Jamie Bromley are your 4 options for driver of the day. You can go to @JACKOCAR2 on Twitter to vote for those. The vote will be up for the next 2 hours. But thank you very much for joining Owen and myself, Gareth Hall, in the commentary box tonight. We'll be back next week for the next round, which is, of course, Monza, as Kia returns on a Tuesday. But for tonight, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week.